What's up? What's up? What's up, classmates? We are super excited to have y'all here for our final installation of Summertime Seminary. Whether you are joining us in the seminary classroom, at the church office, or in the living room, somewhere in between, we are grateful to have you in this space with us tonight. Go ahead and jump in that comment section, share this live, give us a heart, and let us know where you are joining from. Rep your institution. We are super excited for the conversation that we are going to have tonight. Family, just super excited to have y'all in the space. We see you all coming in to the chat. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube, and so just let the people know that they can join us now. And we are getting ready to get this thing started, y'all. If we have not had the opportunity of meeting, I am Kylan Pugh, and I serve as founder and executive director of the Black Seminarians Table. And this summer, we are creating a space where scholarship and community collide. Together, we have gathered in these summertime seminary sessions, and we have been gathering seminarians, pastors, scholars, and lifelong learners in the digital classroom who are committed to this intersection of faith, justice, and the questions that shape our lives and communities. Tonight, we are honored to welcome Pastor William H. Lamar in this space with us on a conversation of his new and remarkable book right here, y'all, fresh off the press, Ancestors, Those Who Bless Us, Curse Us, and Hold Us, y'all. We invite you this evening to continue to engage with us in the chat. And just be prepared to let us know that you are in this space. Joining me on this evening, y'all, you have seen his face. You will see a lot more of his face for the first time on the Summertime Seminary stage, none other than Justin Tyler Dickerson. Welcome, Justin, who is our new program director here at BST. What's up, Justin?
Hello, hello to my Kylan. Hello to my Black Seminarians Table family. Hello, it is good to be here this evening.
All of the classmates are in the space. We see y'all in the chat. Thank you so much. Keep commenting. Go ahead, if you are joining us, go ahead and drop your name, your city, or your institution in the chat. Let us know where you are joining from. We would love to hear from you at this time. Dr. Hood and Holy, you know I love you and I love your name, and I'm so excited to see you back in the chat this evening over there in the YouTube streets. Thank you so much for joining us. Ruth Jackson, we thank you so much for joining us. We see you in the chat. Thank you. You all, we are not going to belabor the hour. We have a quick question for you. Just icebreaker to get this thing jumping off that Justin's going to lead us in, and then we're going to bring up the man of the hour and jump right into this conversation, y'all.
Okay, so hello everyone once again, and let's just do this icebreaker real quick. So make sure that you comment your answers in the chat. Also tag some people in the chat. Just tell them to come on in to the table. So if you could spend, here's the question: if you could spend 1 hour at a table with one ancestor or elder, who would it be, and what would you ask them? So one more time, if you could spend 1 hour at a table with one ancestor or elder, who would it be and what would you ask them?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Y'all, I see you all are coming in this evening. Super excited to have you all in the space. I don't know. That's a good one. Reverend Joyce Radden, we thank you so much for joining us. Blessings to you as well. Just, I don't know. I'm gonna probably go with my mama because she just got up out of here in October. And so I would probably want to sit with my mama for just one more hour to just have one more. It's a couple of conversations that I just want to close the loop on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that would definitely be that would definitely be the one. What about you?
You know what? I have one intimate one that just popped in my head because of what you just said. And then I have one like a little bit messy one. So one,
okay.
So my intimate one is my grandfather. I never got to meet my grandfather, Samuel Felder, but he was born right in November. We're both November babies. There's so much lore about him that I
Yeah.
really want to get to, like, who were you really? And so that's I would love to have a conversation with him for, I think we're gonna need more than an hour, but for an hour. And then I would want to sit at a table with Aretha Franklin. Cause and
Ooh,
my question would be, who is the daddy of the first child? I want to know. I
Justin,
really want to know. I
Justin.
know. She wouldn't tell me, but
He probably wouldn't tell you.
she wouldn't tell me. Probably I probably get told. I probably get told off, but I would want to sit at a table with Aretha.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Dr. Danny Bahuro is in the building. Super excited about this conversation. We are so glad to have you up in here. Dr. JB Edie. Look, JB, look, Edie, didn't he come out here being messy? Didn't he come out here being messy
It's
for
not
us
like we
today?
don't want to know.
But the world wants to know, okay?
The word.
Uh,
Listen.
So yes, you all, again, if you are just now joining us, go ahead and grab us a heart and go ahead and share this live out. We are getting ready to jump into our conversation with none other than Pastor William Lamar on this amazing book. This one right here. This the book, y'all. If you ain't got it, you better go get it. Ancestors, okay, those who bless us, curse us, and hold us, y'all. So I'm bringing up him now. He is the amazing, amazing, amazing pastor of Metropolitan AME in DC. He is also the a scholar, amazing author, and who has published this book. This work is so timely for the now, y'all. So timely for the now. In addition to many of his published work and scholarships out there, he is an amazing HBCU grad. Right, so HBCU grads in the building. Okay, I'm a proud Wiley grad, Wiley College, now Wiley University. We up in here. Justin, what you repping? What you repping?
The illustrious Clark Atlanta University, find a way or make one and have culture for service on 223
Oh
James P.
Lord,
Broadley, Atlanta, Georgia. Indeed. Indeed. You
you're
have
not
to
an
represent.
HBCU grad if you don't have the introduction, y'all. Okay, look, I'm a little old. You know, he fresh out the sand, right? But
Okay.
y'all, this brother that we're going to bring to the stage is a graduate of the Florida A&M University, as well as Duke Divinity, and some others, that has done some amazing, amazing work. But y'all, come on to put them virtual hands together. Come on to put the virtual hands together for the author of this amazing.
Listen, I bring you greetings from Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, set atop the highest of 7 hills in Tallahassee, Florida. And I also, from the ancestors, give you this: presidents are temporary, but Wu-Tang is forever.
Come
Now,
on, Wu-Tang.
now we can go to work. Now we can go to work.
Okay, see, you came in with the Wu-Tang energy, so now I know what we're doing tonight.
All
Okay,
right, now look, who's your favorite member of the clan? Can I ask y'all that?
so
You have an answer.
I do not have an answer, but here's why: because I'm Parliament Funkadelic to
Well,
the
you
day I die.
you don't get Parliament. You don't get Wu-Tang without Parliament.
Without
Without George Clinton doing what he did, multiple groups following that same pattern. RZA follows the pattern, but I'm with you. If you hear any noise, it's just me and the boys.
me and the boys. Look, Dr. Daddy right there with
Dr. Danny
you.
RZA. Now, Dr. Danny, look. Some days it's Jizza, some days it's old Dirt McGirt, but RZA's genius and brilliance.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, like the way that he hits the stacks, that's ancestral work. He can find music that came before and use it and layer it to create something that speaks to us. Really, that is oral, sonic, ancestral work. So we can talk about that.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that's really good because it's funny because that you brought up that, and then we bring up Parliament Funkadelic, because my introduction to you was actually you quoting Parliament Funkadelic in a sermon that you did. I want to say the year was 2003.
Wow.
At FTE.
Oh wow.
Cohort, at an FTE cohort, and you quoted the line. Now the song is gone. It's gonna fade my memory, but I'm jumping right in here. But you quoted the line, "Here's your chance
To dance your way
away
out of your
from
constriction."
constriction." Huh?
What? Here's your chance.
Here's your chance.
And there's so much church in it, Dr. Kyle. Like when they call the mothership, do yourself a favor. If you have never watched The Calling of the Mothership live in Houston, 7576 on Mothership Connection, it is the great Glenn Goins, who did not live to be 30 years old, whose voice, y'all listen to me, I'm giving you something. You will thank me later. Glenn Goins grew up steeped in the church, beautiful, brilliant young brother, addiction issues, just but so gifted. He was from another plane. I think that's probably part of what he couldn't adapt or adjust on this plane as many of us do. But this brother calling the mothership, I think I see the mothership coming, this whole Black idea of being from a beyond time and space, moving into a future and calling forward in Houston, Texas, the mothership. I promise you, that is a religious experience. That is a theological, ancestral experience.
Yeah. It was amazing. And you floored me that day. Because like I said, my late father, he was my stepdad, but in many households we don't do steps. That's he was my dad. But he had just passed, and he's who introduced me to Parliament Funkadelic. And he passed that January. And I had just been wading in the water, just really like, Pops, where you at? Like, how you get out of here like this? Like, we ain't had no conversation. And then you come and slap me in the face.
And last thing I could stay here, I'm quoting Clinton. Free your mind and your ass will follow.
Yeah. Because
if your mind is free, body follows. So their understanding of liberation was that it is not lodged just here in the thinking, in the rationalizing, but the free mind frees bodies. A free mind will lead to free. I want to say it, but I don't know your audience, but I would say it if it's just being you, Colin. But free your mind, and the rest of you will follow.
Yeah, and the rest will follow. I love it. And so, look, that's gonna segue me right into and I say that because that's always my lens, because that was my introduction to you and to your work and to just all of it. And so when I picked up the book, it immediately in the introduction, of course, I was toe up, right? Like I'm already, because you was talking about the picture of Viney, right? Like I was just like, what? Like, come on now. Like we all have the pictures in our houses. But then you told me up, because then you asked the question, are we stuck in the now, or can we dance into a more just and beautiful future?
That's Clinton.
Y'all, this is the introduction, okay?
Dance your way.
This is the introduction. And so immediately I was like, Summertime Seminary, he got to come. Like he got to be the closing out, because it's like here, this invitation to dance again, right? And I'm currently in this posture of why walk when you can dance, right? Especially in today's society, when so much of Black masculinity is telling us not to dance, so much is telling us not to dance, right? And so I think that's my first, like, what is your leaning, and where are you coming from when you act like, are we stuck in the now, or can we dance into a more beautiful future?
So because of your framing around Blackness, Black masculinity, I want to dive directly into an ancestor who should be near and dear to all of us, the great James Baldwin. So the New Yorker printed for his 100th anniversary of his appearance, his letter from a region in my mind. And he tells and if you've not read it, I invite your audience to read it. I'm sure many have, where he talks about going into the church. And he was a boy preacher. You don't know Baldwin. Baldwin was extraordinarily gifted and could set a congregation, he's Pentecostal, could set a Pentecostal congregation on fire. But then he realized that the church was a hustle. He realized that the same hustle that was going on the streets of Harlem was happening in the church. And he realized that he had what it took to master the hustle. But as he began to interrogate theologically and thought he wanted to do more beyond the hustle, and then let's be clear, some churches have not necessarily moved beyond hustle status. He realized that he was not welcome to dance in the church as he was. Now, here is the question that I think that Baldwin is driving to in Letter from a Region in my mind, and I'm definitely driving to it. How weakened has the church been because we would not allow the James Baldwins among us to dance? Now, when Jackie Robinson got to the majors, he said that he knew 10 players better than himself in his own neighborhood. Now, I lift that up to say Black excellence is the norm. Like, there are a lot of James Baldwins and Jay-Z's and Beyoncé's and Solanges everywhere in our communities. And because we won't allow people to dance unless they dance in certain ways, or unless they come dancing in certain bodies, or unless they come dancing according to something that we have laid out as the right thing, as the proper thing, as the fitting thing, we are losing the gift of the Spirit by telling people they're not welcome to dance. And I promised myself after reading that I would never be the kind of person that kept anyone from dancing within the spaces where I'm a part.
How weakened has the church become because we refuse to let the James Baldwins of the world dance?
It's trouble, brother. It's trouble.
Justin, get in here before, because we can stay right there. We can stay right there.
Yeah. That brings me to something that I was talking to over with a friend one time, Reverend Lamar and Dr. Pugh. Amen. No, but all that to say, we were imagining a tribute for luminaries like Walter Hawkins and Diamond Clark and all of these tenors, high singing tenors, as Dr. Alicia Lola Jones would say. And who now could do a tribute for these bodies, these lives, these talents? And we realized, me and this friend realized, that a lot of the people that had the chops to even sing these ballads are no longer in the church. They are no longer and specifically the Black church. And rather they are building church in different ways. They are building church on Broadway. They're building church at brunch in Atlanta. That is how this new ideation of religious experiences is coming about. And talking about James Baldwin, I wonder, what does it take to make our churches dance hospitable?
Oh, wow. So let me say this, Brother Justin. You are reading the mail of Metropolitan AME Church and work that we are doing through the storytelling grant from Lily Endowment. We were blessed to be one of the recipients of that gift. And here is our argument. I would love to get the response of you two wonderful humans. So our argument is that religion in the Latin religio means to bind together, right? So religion speaks to, etymologically, our being bound to Creator, bound to one another, bound to creation. Now, this is what's fascinating. Human beings will create religio. We will bind ourselves together. And if not in formal religious spaces, we will create the binding in spaces that are not formally religious. So you read my mail. My argument is this. Our argument is that Sunday brunch is church. That gathering around tables, church. Wherever human beings gather to bind themselves around joy, around pain, around victory, around defeat, around grief, dreaming, building, creating, conjuring, that is all church. And here's the thing. If your formal religious space refuses to be hospitable, then human beings will bind themselves elsewhere. So here is my argument. Jennings writes in Beyond Whiteness that one of the marks of empire is that empire is always teacher and never student. I posit that the formal church has much to learn from how human beings are binding, and here's the language we're using, church in the wild. We borrowed this from the hip hop song, Church in the Wild. The church is occurring at barbershops, beauty salons, cigar bars, wine bars, wherever humans gather. And we must learn in informal spaces, because there was a time when the church did function in that way. It functioned as the informal space for people to gather. But I think that today, many people are alienated because we see religion chiefly as the moral police of the human body, and not as the space where human creativity and connection to spirit and creator can soar. So because we have taken up the moral policing function, which really is our taking into our bodies and spaces white evangelicalism uncritically, when we become that, then we banish from our presence many who would in years past, ages past, have found hospitable space to dance, to choreograph bodies within the church. Last, you bring up, I'm a big theological nerd, that term perichoresis, which speaks to the internal life of the Trinity, of God as God, Redeemer, God, Creator, Redeemer, Sustainer, Father, Son, Spirit, Mother, Daughter, Spirit, however you formulate that God exists perichoretically, that God is an eternal dance where the aspects, the persons of God are in constant dance one with another. So this idea of dance always is holy, always is theological, Christological, pneumatological, and ecclesiological in theological parlance.
Somebody ought to just get up and dance right there, right? And not in the, right, and not in the churchiness we invite you to shout, right? But in the to be embodied and to dance, right? Not waiting for the moment, right? Reverend Dr. Hood and Holy, I love you, says the first church I pastored didn't want me dancing in the church because I was, quote, the pastor.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Like, I'm with you, Bianca. This is a good argument, right? How many of us are bound in our own bodies, right? Not even bound, like we're so, because I don't even think a lot of us are so embodied, right? So how many of us are living in these vessels, but separate from them? Right. And so how do you, like, you can't even invoke or embody the ancestral presence because you have yet to embody self.
Wow. Well, I think that no one channels the ancestors better than Toni Morrison and Beloved in the Baby Suggs sermon, where Baby Suggs is inviting us. Now, this is interesting. We call it a sermon. She may not have been credentialed in the space, but the best preachers in the spaces have hardly been the credentialed. They have been the ones who have been seized by spirit. So when baby, love this flesh, this neck, this body. I mean, clearly, you are exactly right. We cannot be the channels, the conduits that we need be if we despise our own flesh, which is why systems are designed to make us think that we are not beautiful. That we do not embody in our own physicality the beauty of the one who has created us. That those of us who are sable creations of God must ever desire to be something else. Let me tell you what I love about this space. I'm looking at all three of us. You know, now we cannot deny that we are from the African space. But what I sense in the three of us who have done the work to learn how to love ourselves, to learn how to be joyful, to learn how to not have to ask permission to be those things, to embody those things. And I think you are precisely right. It will be hard for us to conjure and to keep the ancestral when we have not learned to love this here flesh. And this is why I'm very thankful for those who helped me to learn what it meant to love who I am. And I'm still learning what it means to live in this body, to appreciate the glory of what it means to have this Black male body and to live in it in the ways that are truthful for William Lamar.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Because I think there's a parallel of the dance, right, that we've been talking about, and you just named it, and you named it in the book about your inheritance, your legacy being joy.
Mm.
And I'm trying to pivot, but I don't know. Is somebody in this chat right now? Your ankles are shackled.
Wow. Wow.
And I just feel spirit telling you, even in the now, as you watch us on this live, you can get up and dance.
Let me tell you what, and Kyla, you and I have been in spaces together with the great Daniel Black.
Yeah.
I heard Daniel Black talk recently. This brother, he always be bringing it, but he talked about the difference in the Holy Spirit and the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
And he said the people above board on the ship had the Holy Spirit, but the people in the belly of the ship had the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
And just thinking about that kind of somatic reality that calls us forth, that lifts us. Here's the thing about showing up in this Black man's body. We have been taught that means that I am supposed to keep other bodies out, other expressions out. But that is not what it means to be who we are. It is that we got to invoke sinners here. It is to invoke all of those in the space to dance who mean what is best for humanity. But for the rest of y'all, now we gonna keep you out. But those of you who mean what is best for us, because that scene in Sinners just keeps messing with me. Because on the floor, us, indigenous people, Asian folk, all of this beauty and humanity dancing together, queer folk, everybody together, who mean and intend for the best and for the flourishing of us all. That is why the hospitality, Justin, of which you spoke earlier, that's what I'm looking for. That's what feeds me. That's what expands me. That's what the conjuring looks like. That's what the conjuring is.
That's good. And you to think about, y'all, I'm so grateful for all of the Black women in films who are on this live right now. But if y'all would just give us a moment, we're gonna lean into a little bit of Black boy joy, huh? And so, but I want to lean into, and if you have your book with you, I'm going to page 92.
Oh yeah, my wife was smart enough to put it on the table because she knew I
So I'm going to 92, down at the final verse. The final paragraph, and I just want to read a little bit of it, where you because you talk about, before you get to this legacy of joy, right? Like you talk about your father, and it says your father had been summoned, right, to plan this family reunion. But then towards the end, it says, to my father, family members not knowing family members is both tragedy and travesty, and he aims to do something about it. When we are adrift on life's seas, family members are often those who throw out lifelines of support. I am who I am because of this communal way of building connection, right? And so with this, I was just sitting with a lot of family connections. It's very, there's a messiness to it, right? There is this, like nowadays you see a lot of clips going viral of people being no contact with family members, right? Or you have this generation of people who just do not have contact with their families. And so my question is, how do we lean into ancestral wisdom, right, communal guidance in order to repair what is necessary and needed in order for us to lean into this beautiful future that we were speaking of earlier?
So, Dr. Collin, I know that you have spent time with this text, and one of the things that I wanted to be sure that I did is to not write hagiography of those who came before, to not make them saints and perfect, to understand them as textured, sometimes troubled, sometimes troublesome, sometimes troubling. And so to lean into the ancestral It's not to lean into the perfection that came before,
Mhm.
because what we're clear is that that does not exist in us nor in our generation. It is to lean into a humanity that is committed to evolving and becoming more human and more aware of its divinity. So I'm leaning into the ancestral, not because ancestors were perfect, but because I can call the names of ancestors who were committed to evolving into a greater humanity, and committed to evolving toward the divinity that gives humanity its genesis, that creates us. So you're right. For some of us, it may mean leaning away from parents, grandparents, siblings. For some of us, it may mean leaning into their ancestral healing. There is a book, can't remember the author right now, but the brother writes a book called Ancestral Healing. Some of us, our task is to heal those who have gone before. It is to call them forth for cleansing and for washing and for remembering them in their fragmentation, putting them back together again. For the living, for generations that come forward to achieve all that is possible, we must heal ancestors who were troubled, troublesome, troubling. Now, what I also do in the book is to move beyond and speak of the energies of the dead that remain with us. So many teachers would not call Thomas Jefferson or George Washington or you name it, Lincoln ancestors. Now, I don't call them my ancestors, but they are the ancestors of some. And what I am clear about is their energies remain with us. The energy to oppress, to exploit, to extract, that has not left us. So how then do we name what I call shadow ancestral energy? We name it because it is not left us, but we then speak to ancestral energies of light that call us to being who we can be at our highest potential as human and divine creatures, human divine beings.
Justin, come on, get in here, because I know Justin was ready for the shadow ancestors. Justin was ready for it. So I
Yes.
don't want to push this too quick.
Yes, because honestly, often we hear ancestors, and they're when in certain spaces, we often hear that the term, and it's layered with virtue or honor or a certain romance. And what you are pointing to is a certain deconstruction of the romanticization of ancestors, but really grappling with the realities of life and afterlives of those who have came before us.
Yes.
So that leads me to and I want to get to the shadow ancestors, but I want to frame it from the standpoint of hauntology.
Okay, talk to
Which
me.
is becoming more of a term being used, especially in theological education. The haunting, what haunts us, and what might help us. So for you, how do you see what ancestral technologies do you
Talk to
see
me,
that
sir.
are haunting us, and what ancestral technologies you see that are helping us? And I know that we often talk about this in the terms of socio-political, but I would like to talk more about internally to us as Black people.
So thank you. Thank you for the way that you have read it, the textured way, and for troubling. Now, I spend a good little bit of the book talking about haints. And a lot of people don't know what that is. We didn't spend enough time with the old folks talking about haints, this belief in these spirits that chase or ride or inhibit, constrict, Dr. Kylan. Haints constrict. They constrict the dance. And in the South, people would make bottle trees. And the bottle trees would protect against the haint. Painting stuff, haint blue would protect against them. Now, I raise that because the first thing I think we got to do, Brother Justin, is we've got to move fearlessly into epistemologies that we have exorcised. So to be acceptable and respectable Christians, we exorcise, and I don't consider it to be demonic, but others did, the ways of knowing that helped us to think through the haints, to think through the spirits that bind us. And you talked about it, because you're right. It is easy to go straight to the socio-political, but to think about the haints and the spirits that bind us and keep us from flourishing and singing and dancing and being as free people. So I think that one of the things I do is recover that language, recover that thinking, recover the realities that there are spirits that move through us and in us that would keep us constrained, that would keep us imprisoned. And the technologies that we have known would be to acknowledge the existence of the haints, to acknowledge the existence of the spirits. The technology is to name, to call out, to create safe spaces for their release and exorcism. And then the technology was to stay with one another in the ring shout, in the dance, in the shout house. So I would say today that modern clubs often serve that function, where people dance, where people shout, where people sweat out, as Outkast says in that beautiful album Aquemini, is where people come and get their first little taste of the nightlife and dance out all of the stuff, ring out all of the stuff. And this is we cannot allow, this is one of the things, and I don't want to be derivative, but our European brothers and sisters move toward Celtic spirituality. They named it and they combined the Celtic spirituality with Christian realities because they refuse to live without or outside of their ancestral reality. I too refuse to live outside of it. I was talking about this book to some indigenous brothers and sisters, and they said no way would they get rid of their rain dances. No way would they get rid of naming and calling and being people or indigenous. We too must never be satisfied to take on a Christianity that forces us to run away from the ways that we have known. And notice this, and I dare anybody, name me one person that Jesus interacted with in the scriptures from another faith, and he said, abandon what you believe and believe what I'm telling you. He didn't tell the Samaritan woman that. He didn't tell the Syrophoenician woman that. He never told them to divorce themselves from their cultures or way of knowing. He just offered them another way, an expanded way, an expansive way that included who they were. I dare you, find where he said, stop knowing, stop being, leave alone your epistemologies, your ways of thinking. That's what we say. That's not what he said. Therefore, it is not ultimately Christian. Let me tell you what I said. Let me tell you, amen. Amen. I know Dr. Jamie Eady, one of my heroes, one of my midwives. Now listen to me. Let me tell you what I said today in church. And I was like, well, it's been nice being y'all's pastor. I said, we believe in an omnipotence that means that God can do whatever God wants to do whenever God can do it. We know that's not true. We know that we see things in the world that are not of God. And the ways that those things change is when we are in partnership. I like what the process theologians say. They say God entices us towards beauty, entices us towards justice, but we can refuse. And a lot of what we see in the world is our refusal to take up God on God's enticements, God's allurement, God's alluring, God's, is it okay for me to say God's seduction of human beings for what is just, what is beautiful, what is holy? We can say no. America in 2026 is the example of humans saying no to God saying, let's do something different. Let's be some American politics and economics, human beings saying no to the divine enticement. That's what this is. But we can also say yes.
Yeah. 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 I want to bend a corner.
Please bend it, bend it.
So I want to bend a corner, and I want to
You can bend the corner. Don't split the poles. Don't split the
don't
poles.
split the pole down. We can bend the corner. So I want to bend a corner because I feel like what we're dancing up against in this moment is, and what's been popularized and becoming very dangerous is this phenomenon, if you would, of deconstruction.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's no longer being seen as this academic practice of deconstruction that's happening. It's now being used in, or even this process, if you would, of interrogating or sitting with the embedded theology of what was given to you, right, by Mama, Big Mama, all the, right, because that's what they had. So they gave us what they had, right? And it got us through the times. Like, I'm sitting here today, I am still living on the prayers and standing on the shoulders of my mother, right? Like, the reality is just the reality. There was a time, though, that I remember when I left and went to seminary, that my mom set me down and she said, my prayer is that when you get to Atlanta, God will put people in your path who can take you further than I can. Because in her knowledge, she felt, I have taken you as far as I can get you. Right. So she was like, I never went to school. Like, I never went to seminary. Like, I'm a factory worker. Like, this was her thinking. Right. And we had a relationship, and we tussled with that. However, on my corner, there was some things that I was taught, right, that though it got me through the times, I had to go through a process of deconstruction. And now, right, and we were just at the conference this weekend, and Dr. Melvin Sampson was talking about, it comes a point where you have to move beyond deconstruction.
That's right. I heard that. I was listening when she said it.
Right. Like, we have to move beyond deconstruction. And for me, I've been using and setting with this language of faith evolution. Like, how do I allow my faith, my being, the essence of who God is, right, and my understanding and experience of God, right? Because we talked about Dr. Daniel Black. He also talks about how how we in the Black diet, like, we seek to experience God, right? While those who are a little melanatally challenged seek to own God, right? So if they feel like if they can name it, they can own it. While we always speak to the essence, right? The lily in the valley, the battle axe, right? We talk about this. And so what has happened is my faith has evolved. And so can you sit with and help us in this tension of the deconstruction and the process that has to take place there, and then where you have to get up from the table of deconstruction, if you would, and lean into some evolution?
I think that Dr. Melva is right, and I know she's right. I think we know that she's right. So when I say that we cannot allow Christianity to force us to leave behind our epistemologies and our ancestral technologies, that is the construction. So the deconstruction is to be aware of the fact that they have told us that we can't have these tools while keeping them for themselves. The building, the construction is, now that I am aware, Spirit and ancestors have told me, oh no, pick up your tools and build. Now I have the theological ground from which to build, which means that we cannot be afraid to say conjure, which means we cannot be afraid to use the language of ancestors, calling them forth in our spaces with ritual, with habit, with liturgy that we create. So, and I agree with you that deconstruction wore me out in seminary. And I was in seminary from 96 to 99, 30 years ago. And by the end, I was like, now what do I do? And what they said is, well, now that's your job. That's not, you must build really from the rubble.
Yeah.
It's very difficult because you go and these people really, and I think it is their job. I'm glad they took from me my Sunday school stuff, because that was not adequate for the world. And let me be clear, what I've learned about the big mamas, Dr. Kylie and others, it wasn't enough. They used language that we knew, but the language was multivalent.
Yes, yes.
And what I'm just realizing is I'm not wise enough. And I'm asking them, show me how you meant this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you meant, I know it was the blood in penal substitutionary ways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you meant that. I don't think that some of this churchy language that I was taught to deconstruct, I think that you heard it on multiple levels. And I want to return to that focalism. So really, I'm asking, show me, tell me. My wife and I sat at this table yesterday. I told her where I wanted to go with my thinking, with my language, that I wanted to, I'm going to use another hip hop illusion here, MF Doom, like another one of my heroes. Like, how do you get to a place with language, with image, that you're not concerned with it the way that the culture, the corporations, the money makers, the capitalists, the bone and blood suckers, you're not concerned with those things, that you reach a plane and a level of creativity, of humanity, and of connection with divinity, that you are soaring. And human beings will join in the soaring together. I feel like there's still much of me that I've got to lay aside. It's like the animals that molt, birds that shed feathers. Mm-hmm. I got to get rid of some stuff because I know that I'm not quite soaring in that space yet, but I believe that we can get there together. That's what the construction looks like. It is, I know now that these things that I was told, that there's some challenges, that there's some problematics here. But now that I know it, what then am I saying in the speaking? How then am I convening the conversation? And what then institutionally, and this is the last thing I was very important, we must build institutions to carry forth the stories. What institutions do we build? And you may not like that word, but human beings have to build containers for the story, container for the futures that we seek to create. And what do those things look like? That's the construction and the building beyond the deconstructions. I was real good at deconstructing everything, but not good about seeing what was the next. And I think that's the conversation that Dr. Melville was calling to. That's the conversation we're having right now. That's the conversation that will set us free.
That's good. That's good. Justin, we're gonna get you in here. Let's go to the chat. We're gonna clip this portion because seminarians, I'm so grateful that you named your experience after graduating from seminary, because I graduated 2020 after it was a pandemic. So we had virtual graduation.
Oh boy.
And it felt so accidental because I had did all of this deconstruction and was like, wait a minute, but what do I have now? Like, what do I, and God bless those of you who were actively pastoring and leading at the time, because I was like, now what do I go do with this, right? And I see in the chat, like, right, Dr. Elam, you were here talking about build from the rubber. That was me in seminary, right? Yeah. Rachel Marie, I hope I said that right, or maybe Raquel, but healthy deconstruction should help us build upon our faith and understand the why behind it instead of disproving it.
Yes.
Help us, right? Help us in this work and in this space. It was one
and kind of reinterpreting. So let me tell you what I do with the communion liturgy. I think penal substitutionary atonement is demonic.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do the communion liturgy, I say we break this bread, remembering that God's desire is no more human bodies be broken for any politics, any religion, any economic system. And that the broken body of Christ being put together in resurrection is God saying no to the breaking of bodies, no to death, the cup, the blood. If we're going to still use that ritual, this is God's no to the shedding of blood for your $1 trillion, Elon Musk, for your empire, America, for your bombs and your machines of death defense industry. That is what this meal is. This meal is the no to the shedding of blood and the breaking of bodies. This is what it means. So then taking what we know, I could say, oh, I don't do this ritual. And some people don't. And I appreciate that. But I still see that there is usefulness that the Spirit can have for it. But if it is reinterpreted in the direction of what I feel like this thing is all about, this is about life and not about death. And so then I try to move interpretation and ritual in that direction. Today at Metropolitan, we played Anita Baker's Sweet Love. And we played Everybody Loves the Sunshine by Roy Ayers during offering, because I tell them that every production that we have lifted culturally is holy. That is a hymn. We sing Invitation, Take Me to the Alley by Gregory Porter. That is who we are. That is what we do. We open wide the doors to build on all these things that others have told us has no place in the church. It has every place in the church. Every place. It is church.
Get in here, Justin, because you know I'll keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what I am just struck by is not only our conversation on dance, but the conversation on sonicism. That there is a sonic conversation when talking about ancestors, and I think I would like to direct it more personally to you, Reverend Lamar. Like, how do you hear the ancestors? Where do you hear the ancestors? Because there's a lot of hearing in this dialogue.
It is oral. It is oral. And man, up above my head, I mean, I can sit and I can hear conversation. It is how I program myself. I can do a lectio visio and look at a picture and imagine a conversation. I can hear music. I can be in nature watching just the expanse and the beauty of creation and see and hear and know. It is, as I said, it's a way of knowing. It's epistemology. It is a way of knowing. Now, it is an epistemology. It is a science that the West rejects. But here's the thing: they don't really reject it. They just reject you doing it and listening to ancestors that would bring about the end of their reign of death, exploitation, and oppression. They don't want you to hear that. This whole thing, Mr. Trump may not be aware of it, but the erasure of our history is a way to keep us from being a dialogue with our ancestors. Do you know? And I thought, I knew that whenever I have a good thought, I'm clear it's not just mine. I know the Spirit is giving it to others, but the reading of a book is ancestral technology. If you read James Baldwin, you talking to James Baldwin, you in his head. If you read Up From Slavery, you read Bell Hooks, or you read Kimberly Crenshaw, you are in their heads. These are all the ways that I hear ancestors. And one of my prayers before preaching is that I fall into ancestral space and that I be undergirded and lifted by their thinking and by what Spirit would have me to say in this moment. So those are all the ways, man: music, stillness, silence, openness, nature, dialogue with friends sometimes. It's just the ancestors are dancing all around. And I think the text speaks to it. And I talk about this since we are surrounded by so great, surrounded. And Jesus going to the mountain, having an ancestral conversation. It says that two men appeared and they talked. We don't know what they said, but we know Jesus had enough sense to talk to his ancestors. You better damn well know we better be talking to them in 2026.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking about this point of deconstruction. Just to go back to go forward, just to engage in a Sankofa moment.
Yes, sir.
Because I wonder if sometimes we cross the line from deconstructing to apologizing, where we want to now take the same technologies of fundamental Christianity to bash, who we might have been in conversation in past lives. And so I think one of the things, how do we engage in evolution and bring along Big Mama with us? And also, I think what we're talking about is studying Big Mama's spirituality.
Yes, sir.
And paying close attention to, okay, the blood of Jesus means a lot more than just the saving of souls. That the blood of Jesus acts as a protective cover. It acts as a reinforcement. It acts as a curse. That there are so many things that because of Black language and because where we sit in the Atlantic of how we have had to mask what our spiritual technologies with Black language, that there is so much more than what we're doing that meets the eye and even meets the white ear.
Oh,
And so I wonder, how do we move from deconstruction without apology?
so let me tell you, I want to be completely honest about my journey. When I was 21, 22, learning all the stuff you learn in seminary, I came to really question what I grew up hearing. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, Big Mama them was wrong. Yeah. Right? I mean, I'm just pretty much, because I was not at my age where you all are now, or where I would like to think I am. And so now what I realize is I had to catch up to their wisdom. That now, if I get a theological tone, this is where I start. This is my epistemological beginning. I will never trust them more than I trust the spirituality of those who have loved me. So no matter what Big Mama them read or didn't read, said or didn't say, they loved me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They loved me. They fed me. They encouraged me. They disciplined me. They loved me. And their love is the theological proof that I need. I start there. I am clear that I give epistemological and theological priority to their prayers, to their sermons, to their wisdom, to their aphorisms. That's where I started. This is what James Cone was trying to tell us. That, and this is, think about how radical this was, y'all. We can do theology based on our own stuff. Now, he did that in the formal academy. We've been known that. He ain't doing nothing new. Black people, we've been known that, but he did it in the formal academy. Yeah. What I am saying is there is no embarrassment, no shame. Let me give you, I worked this out in the book. So my father, when the white folks landed on the moon in 1967, I tell this story. He went across the driveway to his great-grandfather, Big Daddy, born in 1896, died in 1975. He said to Big Daddy, now follow this, bro, Justin. Mm-hmm. He said to Big Daddy, now they done landed on the moon. And this is what Big Daddy said to my daddy, who at that time was 16, 17 years old, who is my daddy's now 75. He said to his grandson, that's what's wrong with y'all. Y'all believe everything white people tell you. He said, that is a studio in Hollywood. Now, when I first heard that, I said, man, Big Daddy was wrong scientifically. Now, Big Daddy was right. What Big Daddy is saying is what's going to destroy you all is believing everything they say to you. Every image they show you, you take it uncritically. Big Daddy was saying, I was born in 1896 and lived to 1967 by not believing what they told us about who we were, about our possibility. So did they land on the moon? I met some Black astronauts recently. I trust them. They said they went to the moon. I believe them. They went to the moon. But what is more important is the epistemology that Big Daddy was sharing, that we trust those who love us, those who believe in our existence, who believe in our future. So I tell that story. I am not ashamed about what Big Daddy said about them landing on the moon, because it was a bigger issue. And we have Black people today that believe every image they show them, every sermon they preach. And they would be the enemies of our people, who are therefore the enemies of humanity. Some of them have white skin, some of them do not. That's the they. We cannot believe that. Therefore, my theological grounding, I think this is what James Cone might say if he were with us in this realm, that you begin the theological inquiry from the production of people who loved you and never questioned your humanity. I ain't playing with you if you don't think I should exist. You can't tell me about what is ultimate, what is holy, what is beautiful. To hell with you.
So y'all, we had time, but give us 5 more minutes. Give us 5 more minutes because you just linked in. You just linked in, and I'm going to page 149 in the book where you talk about and let me just see. Let me just see. We didn't ask for no reading, so I'm gonna read it. But it says the designers of America's imperial capital did not design space in the interest of furthering dialogue or gathering voices and people together. They designed to magnify the narrative of the victor while suppressing how the victory was won. What kind of space would this be if other voices were given space? What kind of place would this be if other names were named and other images remembered? Images of indigenous people whose land was pillaged and plundered, the Africans whose labor was stolen. And I do not mean that we need a statue here and a school name for the lover of liberty there. I mean that we need a complete redesign and overhaul of the spiritual, physical, political, and emotional space that we share. As we are wrapping, if you can help paint a picture for us, right? Tapping into our imaginations of a land, of an institution, of a spirituality that centers this spiritual technology, the ancestral technology, the naming of the marginalized, a space where the dance is holy, where we are embodied. If you can help paint this picture of the beautiful future that this book and this body of work is helping us dream into.
Let me first honor that this last question, Dr. Kyler and Brother Justin, is a question that begs for us to dream and imagine our way in a new world. That is, how do you leave the deconstruction behind? And as you read that, Kyler, let me be honest with you, man. I was like, I didn't write that. Where did that come from? Like literally, I was moved in hearing you read those words because they express how I feel, but I don't remember where they came from.
Mm.
This is where I want to begin this exercise in imagination. It is for what does it mean for us to be able to live as conduits of what wants to be born? To live as portals. This was the result of my opening myself in ways I heretofore still often don't want to open myself. To open myself for the beauty and the light and the language in me to come out. Now let me be very clear. Now we know this on the exorcism side when preachers say, come out to the demons. But I want to say, come out to the light. Come out to the creativity. Come out to the books, to the businesses, to the paintings, to the music, to the architecture. Come out. We need to not just lay hands on people so that the demons can be exorcised. We need to lay hands on people so the portals will be open. And so what will fly out of us will be the thing that we are trying to cover. Let's be very clear, man. We grown folks. We try to cover that which tries to come out of us with so many addictive behaviors. Mm-hmm. All of us. With avoidance, with manufacturing immediacy out of things that should have no priority at all, which is often what social media will do. It's a manufactured immediacy that is designed to dance with the way our brains work, to keep us addicted and to close off portals. So what does it look like? It looks like human beings who have learned to be the portals for what is crying out to be born in our age. And those people will be unashamed and naked, as the text says. Naked and unashamed, meaning they're not putting on artifice. They're not trying to make you like them. They're not trying to dress your way, speak your way, dance your way. They are being. And those who are concerned first with that kind of being, they are the radical revolutionary presences that build what makes life possible. I always go back to what I learned from my wife, Dana, who's a scholar of literature. Tony K. Bombara says that the purpose of the artist is to make revolution irresistible. The purpose of this shared work of the Black Seminarians table is to make not repair irresistible, but revolution. And I think Talib Kweli's daughter on Liberation 2, she's got a track with her pops where she reads a poem where she talks about revolution does not have to be bloody. If you make it bloody, it probably might become bloody, but revolution is a reorientation of our theology, of our economics, of our politics. All are in desperate need of revolution. And what comes next is that we are portals not only of what came before us, but what will come after us. Those who will come after us, our descendants are also our ancestors. Those who come before us, completing those circles. So those are the ones who will draw and dance and sing and write and build our future. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I get out of the way? How do I stop inhibiting that flow? Because I'm telling you, when you get a taste of it, you either stay there or you run away. And I think that many of us, our religion teaches us to run away from it, to run away from that beauty, to run away from that creativity, to run away from being that portal. The way that Jesus is constructed in the Gospels, he looks like those who came before, because that's what they're trying to create. That's what they're trying to say. He is of this line. He is of this prophetic tradition. He's of this priestly tradition. He's of this royal tradition. And we know there are a lot of issues in that, but they know he must be situated not as the human being who comes apart from those things, but as one who is situated in that stream. And that's what we must rediscover about ourselves.
Justin, after I read these two comments, I'm coming to you for final words, because Reverend Joyce, she right. He got me rocking over here. He got me rocking. We can lean here. Jay Davis, to live as portals is to allow memory to come out of flesh, living flesh alongside the ancestral plane.
Yes.
Dr. Edie, so that they/we can come out of/move beyond what white supremacy has called them/us in. I love it. Asking us to become alive. Justin, I'm going to you.
Yeah, I think for me, I think one of the things that I appreciate about this broadcast tonight is, when talking about ancestral technology, a lot of our churches, I come from African American Pentecostalism. So, apostolic to be exact. So a lot of this language around portals and dimensions and the sound, the call, all of it's very much present in so many of our Black religious traditions. I think the invitation, which that's one thing that I see circling around our dialogue, that there's an invitation to dance, there's an invitation to hear, and there's an invitation to be a portal. And it is through answering that call that, whether we hear it orally or whether we hear it embodied, it is through accepting that invitation that we then become a portal for the next and for the now. And I love also how there's such a conversation about time here, which we haven't gotten into just yet. But even the collapsing of time, how past, present, future comes together in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, which is our life. That our ethical decisions that are and who we decide to be, because it is a decision. It is a decision. It's not a wrestling like we often try to make it sound like. That who we decide to be helps us to become a portal for everything that we need to be. So I just there's so much here in this conversation that we do already, but we don't recognize it. And I think it's more so, I think one of the things that we're pointing to and that we're trying to reconcile here, and I'm just about finished, is in the text for Color Girls, in that text, one of the soliloquies is, "Someone almost stole my stuff," and I think we need to realize that there are people who have tried to steal our stuff. And we need to become a little bit more, first recognizing that it's ours to begin with, and then become very passionate about defending what we have and recognizing what we have. So I appreciate it, because we're doing a lot of this already, and we just need to come alive and come into the awareness of what we are doing.
Let me share with y'all. So this is Diani. This is Kwali's daughter. Liberation poem. And the title of the song, I want y'all to look it up. It's called Asada's Code. It's in Asada Shakur, Asada's Code. This is the 21st century, and we need to redefine revolution. This planet needs a people's revolution, a humanist revolution. Revolution is not about bloodshed or about going to the mountains and fighting. We will fight if we are forced to, but the fundamental goal of revolution must be peace. We need a revolution of the mind. We need a revolution of the heart. We need a revolution of the spirit. The power of people is stronger than any weapon. A people's revolution cannot be stopped. We need to be weapons of mass construction, weapons of mass love. It's not enough just to change the system. We need to change ourselves. We have got to make this world user-friendly. Are you ready to sacrifice to end world hunger, to end colonialism, neo-colonialism, racism, sexism? Revolution means the end of exploitation. Revolution means respecting people from other cultures. Revolution is creative. Revolution means treating yourself as a friend and an equal. Revolution is sexy. Revolution means respecting and learning from your children. Revolution is beautiful. Revolution means protecting the people, the plants, the animals, the air, the water. Revolution means saving this planet. Revolution is love. Bow. That's my religion. Wow.
Yeah,
that's my religion. That's the religion of Jesus. That's the religion of Fannie Lou Hamer. That's the religion of Malcolm. That's the religion of Coretta Scott. That's the religion of Betty Shabazz. That's the religion. That's the religion. That's the religion.
That's the religion. Classmates, that is our time on this evening. We are super, super, super excited. Dr. Furman, thank you for joining. Look, Dr. Furman is amen and I shame. That is my religion, right? Like Jay Davis, thank you so much for this piece. What does it mean to allow our bodies to become a living site of conjuring? This is what Big Mama did when she kept all the obituaries in a shoebox, or when wailing becomes the call to hear / Jay, I'm literally going through cleaning my parents' house right now, and I just found the shoebox full of obituaries.
I have a box full of obituaries under my bed. That's who we are. They cannot be far from us. That's who we are.
That's who we are. And I didn't know what to do with them. Now I know to keep them. I've been sitting with it. But when I called, and I'm ending, y'all, but when I called the mortuary, the gentleman said, he was like, you can keep them. He was like, or you can give them to us so we have record. He said, because what often happens is that when people are, because we talked about the ruptures of family systems and things of that nature. He said, so what happens is that people will often come back to the mortuary, right, seeking these things to help them repair pieces of their family lineages. Right, because the major piece of the obituary is, right, they leave in life or they was preceded in death by, right? Which helps us in the mending and in the repair of this work. But family, we are closing, so receive this now as you're sending forth. Classmates, as we leave this table, may we remember that theology is never merely something that we study. It is something that we embody. May we have the courage to dance with our whole selves, to trust our bodies, to carry wisdom alongside our minds, and to remain in sacred relationship with the ancestral technologies that have sustained Black people for generations. Memory, testimony, song, story, ritual, imagination, and communal care. May we never mistake academic privilege for the destination. Instead, may we use every classroom, every degree, every sermon, every page that we write, and every question that we ask to do the work our ancestors dreamed was possible. To help our faith grow deeper, our communities become freer, and our world more just as we go. Somebody put "come out" in the closing.
Come out.
As we go, may we come out. As we go, may we come out. As we go, may we come out to carry the witness of those who have gone before us. Those who are steadfast like Aunt Viney. Those who have the enduring legacy and faith of Justin's grandfather that he named earlier. Those who are resilient in love like my mother Thalys. The prophetic imagination of James Baldwin and the countless named and unnamed ancestors whose lives continue to bless, challenge, and hold us. May we honor them not only with our remembrance, but with the lives we choose to live. Go in courage, go in curiosity, go in community, and may we become faithful ancestors for the next generation yet to come. Amen.
Amen.
Shay.
And look, laminate those obituaries, y'all. That's a Black thing too. Go somewhere and laminate them, because time will eat them up. We use laminator. Y'all know about lamination, don't you? Y'all know about lamination?
Get you a laminator. You all go get you this book, Ancestors, Those Who Bless Us, Curse Us, and Hold Us. Reverend Lamar, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Justin, thank
Love
you.
y'all. Thank y'all
Family,
very much.
y'all catch it out.
All right. Thank you.